I'm here today with John Spires and Sam Sweeney, two of the 11-member piece Bellowhead, to talk about their show this evening at the Warwick Arts Centre. So you're labelled as a folk band, and you say that you took influence from Brass Monkeys. Are there any other key influences that you draw upon that might be slightly unexpected with your music?
There was a really big similar instrumentation Canadian band called La Bottine-sur-Yonne, who I actually saw at this art centre many years ago, and they did something with their traditional Québécois folk music, which is similar to what we've done, but they were much more jazzy, whereas we've taken a more sort of pop approach to a lot of the tracks. I think that's sort of one of the places we started.
Yeah, I mean, if you just look at our sort of all of our albums, there are songs like Fire Merengue off the first album, which obviously have a bit of a funk influence. Disco and kind of funk. And then, so we do take influence from all types of pop music, and there are more jazzy numbers as well. So, but to pin it down to specific bands would be quite hard, but just we try to bring in as many influences as possible, really, and it seems to work.
So how did each of you get involved in the English folk music scene?
Right, well, I can't really remember. It's always been there. It's something, I think everyone grows up with a little bit of folk music in their collective consciousness, and I really got into it when I was a student. I didn't really play any folk instruments before I played music, but folk music came when I bought my first squeeze box instrument, which was because my room was so small in my student accommodation that I actually I couldn't fit a piano in there at all, so I had to get a little piano accordion. I discovered the whole scene through trying to play that instrument, really.
I was 6 when I picked up the fiddle, but I had classical lessons at school. My parents always listened to folk music, so I sort of absorbed it. There aren't really such things as folk lessons, so it's not like you can go and get taught how to play folk music, but I just absorbed it and taught these tunes to myself, really, just by listening to various albums and so on. But I primarily played Irish music till I was about 15, and then I started listening to people like him and Eliza Carthy and people like that, and discovered English music, and then I've played that ever since.
The thing is that it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, really, isn't it? Because once you get a little bit into it, that whole scene is so supportive, and the session scene and the folk club scene is just a really supportive network to get into playing. It's quite easy for it to become like a roller coaster. It takes over your whole life, so.
Absolutely.
Last time Bellowhead played at Warwick Arts Centre, you went on to Bournemouth to follow a DVD for Hedonism. Are there any plans to shoot such a DVD after this tour?
I don't think there are any plans. We've just filmed, and it's out already, in fact, the video for our first single, a second single off the new album. But no, there isn't something. We're talking about recording a live album rather than a live DVD, but we're not quite sure when that's going to happen. Have to have a gig to do a live album, so.
I saw you perform at Glastonbury in 2011, and many students are frequent festival goers. What festivals have you got coming up for this summer?
We're doing, they're sort of still coming in actually, because some of the festivals book quite late. We've definitely already got the Llama Tree Festival, which is a brilliant festival.
You were headlining that, aren't we?
Somewhere else near Salisbury.
The biggest one is there's a big show at Kew Gardens,
a
massive outdoor show, which is going to be Billy Bragg and the Fisherman's Friends, and then we're headlining that. I think there's only 3 artists on, but that's a huge. That'll be a sort of 15,000 people or something like that. So that's quite big. Where else we go? Oh, we're doing the Shrewsbury Flower Show 2 nights in a row, which is a massive. It's in the quarry in Shrewsbury, so it's huge, absolutely massive sort of field. Really.
Obviously you tour in Europe as well. How do places like the Netherlands and Belgium respond to such classical English folk music?
It actually varies massively, doesn't it? Last January we did Belgium, Holland and Germany. And we played some crazy. We played the Paradiso in Amsterdam, which is a hugely famous rock venue, and they that was just like a gig over here, wasn't it? I mean, they went absolutely crazy, and that was amazing.
They're all English.
Yeah. And then it varies. I mean, I like it because when you play a tour like this, you know, there's 2,000 people or something coming, and they know, most of them know what you do, and they've heard your music. Whereas when we went on tour to Europe last year, it was almost like converting people who didn't really know. So we come out and you watch their faces sort of go, "What's this?" What? and then you win them over, you know, and then by the end they're jumping up and down and having a great time. So it's actually a very rewarding experience to play for new audiences.
And you did a bus song a day videos recently. Have you got any plans to do anything like that coming up as well? Or?
It would be hard, wouldn't it, to do it again, because...
How can you top that video?
Yeah.
No, I mean, it was an idea that one of us came up with on the first day of a tour, and you know, by the end we were enjoying it a lot, and it was great fun. But it did take up every single scrap of spare time on the tour.
Because the deal was the song had to be written, recorded, and a video filmed on the day.
What, during the travelling to the gig?
Yeah.
So if you didn't have a long journey, it had to be phenomenally quick. But I think one of my absolute favourites was after Leamington? I can't remember where it was after. And we drove to a service station, and the crew bus also pulled up. And we just texted them saying, right, we're going to film Bus Wars when we stop at the services. So
Can you steal Ed from our bus?
Yeah.
Dressed as zombies.
So Pete wrote this heavy metal piece of music and recorded it in about half an hour or something. And then we stopped, and somehow the crew had got zombie masks on. And we just came out and filmed this phenomenal fight. They had zombies, and they stole Ed and took him to their bus. That's my favourite one.
Yeah,
I love it.
Funny. But I think, you know, we've done that now.
Yeah, to top that would be quite difficult.
Now. We were thinking maybe if we get a really nice bus with a decent kitchen on it, then we could possibly do a folk dinner a day.
Yeah, a cooking show.
Yeah. But we haven't quite got the facilities for that yet, have we?
No, we could do my
toaster.
Yeah.
What are your favourite things about touring with a band or a folk band of such a great size?
Well, I think the best thing is the gig, isn't it? I mean, that's why you do it, and that's kind of why the hanging around for hours and not doing the right lot in the day is kind of bearable. I mean, I make it sound dreadful. It's not. None of it's dreadful.
It's dreadful, isn't it? Not to do anything for your work.
Yeah. No. The gig is the best bit, of course, because we're at the stage now where, you know, we can play New York Girls or the new single, and people, you can just watch 2,000 people and they all know it, and they all jump up and down, and to see that every night is just the most incredible thing. I don't think I'll ever get used to it, really. I don't think you can get used to it.
No, it's a good idea not to.
Yeah, no, well, absolutely, yeah. So it's the gig is amazing, you know. But football was nice just a minute ago. That was quite exciting.
Don't need all of us for that.
Have you found the resurgence of sort of mock folk like Mumford & Sons to be a hindrance or a help with the popularity of your music?
I think it can only be seen as a help, really. I mean, whatever you call it, you know, Laura Marling and Mumford & Sons and all of that, it all helps. And there's just a massive interest at the moment in real music, real instruments and real songs, and I think young people are just getting interested in real people playing real instruments as opposed to going to watch stuff that's
being given the same label, even though it's really a completely different genre of music. A couple of the instruments are the same, but it gives us a chance, us playing traditional folk music, it's sort of a chance to show people how good and relevant some of these old stories and catchy songs are. And it's nice for people to know that they've got like a standard repertoire that is indigenous to this country that you can call on if you want to. It's not making any statement in particular.
Next year will be Bellowhead's 10th year. Have you got any plans of how you'll celebrate?
I don't know if we're allowed to say.
We're plotting as you ask us the question, so something will happen.
There'll be a big old thing, but I don't think we're allowed to say what it is.
I think that's everything. Thank you, John Spies and Sam Sweeney of Bellowhead.